gentlemen, Jerry Bandy, who does not want to be on the Mid-Ohio Rock Show, except in a cameo appearance. Hey everybody, I'm Tommy Barnes. Once again, thanks for hanging out with us at the City News in downtown Mansfield. This is considered the Brickyard area, and they have really done a lot in the last several years to build this area up. We've got a brand new stage that's going to be built for the Final Friday concert series, so we're really stoked about having a bunch of great concert events in downtown Mansfield. But for today, we have got a bunch of great musicians we've been filming here at City News, and we're just doing kind of a jam night, catching up with people we haven't talked to for quite a while. Randy Love here, drums with Back on Earth. We had an opportunity to hang out with Eric Barkdull. Also want to say thank you, Susie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For allowing us to film here at City News. Man, I was telling Eric a while ago, Randy, that I don't know how many times I've seen Back on Earth, but I've seen you guys up at the lake. I've seen you at Mansfield and Shelby. It's really quite cool just playing in a band that's been around and has such a great heritage like Back on Earth.
Yeah, we started late 70s with Eric and Mike Martin and I, and so we've had a few different bass players, but just been at it that long. So
yeah, it's really cool. You know, I talked with Eric about our good friend Mr. Ed, and of course a longtime friend with you guys. We were joking about trying to
He's our biggest fan.
He is your biggest fan. I know that. That's for sure. Coming out of high school and stuff like that, what kind of got you guys together playing in the first place?
I think those guys are actually a couple of years older than I am, and they probably don't want me saying that.
We'll just say they're 10.
But yeah, but they were two great guitar players in Shelby. Shelby didn't have a lot of them, but those guys were the premier. And I was trying to learn to play the drums and wanted in a band, and so I got Mike over to my house one time to hear me play the drums. And we got a kind of formed a loose band, and I don't remember all the transitions, but eventually I got Mike and Eric in the same band. So I was pretty proud of that, that I had two of the best two guitar players in town in a band together, and it just kept going.
So what do you think the evolution of the band has been? I mean, obviously the music, because you just adapt and learn new songs, whether they're radio hits or stuff you guys have written. But how do you see the evolution of the band in the years you've been at it?
Well, we had to fight off the disco fever there in the 80s, and we were actually trying to get out there and work and play as much as we could. It got a little difficult to get jobs, so we had to come up with doing different things. I remember I had two great guitar players, but keyboard music was the thing. I had to play something that sounded like disco to get away with getting a halfway decent job. So Eric bought a keyboard, and we started doing Doobie Brothers songs, and we minute by minute, what a fool believes, and things like that. That got us into a lot of better clubs, I guess, and
you started playing roller rinks at that point.
Yeah, we sort of got out of just mostly the animal clubs, and so yeah. As I think back, there's about half the places that I could, if you did say the 80s, go back. Most of those places are gone now.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of good clubs back there.
When I was chatting with Eric too, he told me about getting the keyboard and being very apprehensive about introducing that to the band. And
So
like, you guys tell me, does it suck or is it really good?
Yeah.
Do you remember that day when that first day when that actually happened?
Yeah, that's why I brought up that Doobie Brothers thing, because I remember Minute by Minute was a really popular song, and that was hot on there, and Eric sat down and note for note picked it out, and I thought, cool, we got a keyboard player now, we can, we're on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, it's essentially stayed the same throughout all these years in that regard.
Yeah, we've had a few different bass players, but Eric still does keyboard and guitars, and we mix that up. And Mike Martin plays guitar, rhythm and lead, and I'm doing the drums.
How has your drumming changed at all? I mean, obviously with the songs, the different way that they're written and the different measures and stuff. But do you find yourself playing differently than you did back then?
Well, hopefully better than I did back then.
Absolutely.
But the stuff we like anymore seems to be a lot simpler. When we started, we were trying to learn Emerson, Lake and Palmer stuff, and Yes stuff, and classical rock stuff, and the drumming was Rush was another one. And these were drums everywhere. You had a huge drum set, and
yeah, I've seen those bands, and one of the first concerts I ever went to back in 1972 was Yes. It was they started doing the In the Round tour. And I mean, you're talking about literally like 30 drums. I mean, there was as many of those as were organs and pianos on the stage. And Rush the same way. It's just amazing.
With Neil Peart and his huge ensemble. Well, the trouble was we were doing that on a limited budget, so we had to try to get that out of 3 or 4 drums that we could afford.
Yeah.
So, but the older I've gotten, pare it down to a nice small set. The greatest jazz drummers in the world just play on a little combo set, little one mounted tom, one on the floor, a couple cymbals, and they're often released.
Maybe a Coca-Cola box to tap in.
Sometimes, yes. Yeah, I think that's it. I think the best music though anymore has a pretty simple beat, at least the stuff that we enjoy.
Well, doesn't that also harken back to the 60s, if you will, when it was a lot simpler and not maybe as complicated? But there again, you know, think about the early 70s. You were talking about those progressive bands. You know, Yes, and Rush, and some of the others, the Pink Floyds, if you will.
That was it. That was good for us to learn that. But still, yeah, I guess I'm at the age where I like that old stuff that came from the early 60s and on up. So that's still a big influence for all of us.
Yeah.
And that's what music is been throughout the decades here. It's just,
you know what? You could put Johnny Rivers' Secret Agent Man on for me right now, and I'd just be, or some Donovan, and I would just like melt.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah, I still.
This is really great stuff.
And you know, thanks to digital downloads and stuff, you hear a song now anymore, it just. Oh good, I'll get that. I forgot about that, you know, because I don't know whatever happened to. I've got LPs. I don't think I can play them anymore.
Right.
And
where would you find a stylist these days?
Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't even know. Yeah, stylist is where you go get your hair done, I suppose. I don't know.
There's probably a big online business for stylists, though.
Probably so. And for those of you under 40, that's the needle on your turntable, by the way. Anyway,
I knew that, just for the record.
We did Jeopardy together once, Rock and Roll Jeopardy. He won, I got second. $75 to my 50, wasn't it?
I forget, and I remember doing that. I had forgotten all about that.
Yeah, I think we had to give them $100 to be on the show. So we lost our asses on that one. Hey, once again, I'm Tommy Barnes. Randy Love from Back on Earth. Make sure you check these cats out, whether it's in the Mansfield area, maybe playing up at Lake Erie, putting bass, something like that. You're going to enjoy their show. It's truly amazing. Thanks a ton, man. Appreciate
Thanks a lot, Tommy.
You're welcome. See ya later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.